So here's a tutorial on how to do a knit look in clay. This is one of my favorite techniques to do because I make these look sack boys and stuff, but I make them out of clay so that they'll last longer, but I love the look of the knit. So what you want to do is you want to start with whatever surface that you're trying to make the knit on. Then you're going to take lines and you're basically going to do long vertical lines. And depending on how close together they are is how tight the knit is. So we're going to do them about 1/4 of an inch away on this demonstration here. We're just going to do these vertical lines. And they don't need to be perfectly straight up and down because the more irregular they are, the more life the piece will have. Okay. So then when you do that, start in the center. It's typically what I do. And you want to do a 45 degree. So I'm taking a curved tool like this. And if you notice, it angles down at about a 40 degree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it straight down into the clay at a 45 degree angle. So we're going to make these like V's basically. So we're going to start on one side. So we're pushing in further towards the line and then it fades out to less further back, if that makes sense. Stop. And then we're just going to come down here and we're just going to add these lines. On that side. And then we're going to flip the clay over or the model over and we're going to do the same thing in the same direction. So we're getting these little V's. But we're pushing towards the center, towards the line there. And then we're going to just come back and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Could be visited by a friend here. We're just going to continue doing this over and over and over again. Okay, so we're just going to do one side. All right, so then once we get the V's in there, now what we're going to do is we're going to come down the center and do the same thing because these are overlapping lines. So we're just going to come down in the center and we're going to press towards the bottom of the V in further than we are on the rest of the stitch. So it's going to go in towards the bottom and be less in the opposite direction. We're going to do the same thing coming down this one. And then we're going to flip the clay over and we're going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. Isn't this interesting? The cat is very interested in what I'm doing. Same thing on this side. Now, if you want to really kind of complete the look of them being individual pieces of yarn, once you're done, so that gives a very nice knit kind of feel. So there's a couple different techniques that you can use to make it more better, as we like to say here on the stream here, more better. One, you can take a rake like this, and we can actually come in here and we can add a little bit of texture to each of the individual lines, again in that 45 degrees. Flip it over. Just like that, to kind of give us a little bit of texture there. And we can also go in here with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. We'll do rubbing alcohol. Smack the camera there. I'm good at that. Take a little bit of rubbing alcohol here and a soft bristled brush. And then we can come in, we can kind of soften up these edges a little bit. And this will give it more of a rounded look. Now, while it doesn't look terribly knit at the moment, it all comes down to painting then after we have this texture in here. So what you would do is after you bake this, you would base this whole thing in a dark color. If you're going to go with earth tones, I would go with a dark brown, not black. If I was going to go with cool colors, I would go with black then, because it's going to most likely be a blue-based black. So once that's done, then dry brush this. And you're going to want to dry brush these in colors. If you're doing warm tones, say like brown or anything like that, start with your really, really dark brown as your base, and then go with a medium to medium light colored brown and dry brush over the top of this, and it's going to give a lot more depth, and then go 2 or 3 more shades lighter, dry brushing a little bit less each time, and it's going to give the individual fibers, make them stand out a little bit more, and it's going to give a really nice knit look to the piece when you're done. So that would be how I would do like a faux knit on clay.